Hello, everybody out there in the internet. Welcome to Aimless Babble Z, episode 207. I'm Ticketmaster, joined by
RPG Maniac 05
and Trapped Goal.
So yeah, today we're gonna go talk about the Steam box thingy. There wasn't too much at TGS to really, be like, oh man, so much stuff happened at TGS. So a little bit, not too much, and then what you've been playing, and then some news, and then that's that.
Awesome.
Actually, I guess it's more like a SteamOS and Steam box, because they didn't really... Did they call it the Steam box? I don't think they did.
They called them Steam machines.
Yeah.
Which I thought was hilarious.
See, that was, it was interesting, but it was, weird, because it's, from that image, it seems like there's going to be more than one of them, so it's they'll just, maybe license them out or something.
Yeah, so for people who don't know, Valve has been teasing 3 major announcements this week, and they've had countdown pages and everything. So on Monday, the first one ended, and they revealed SteamOS. And so, everyone knows that Gabe Newell was down on Windows 8 because it integrates Windows with the Windows Store, which means that conceivably at some point in the future, everything, all the programs you buy through for Windows, you have to buy through with the Windows Store, which is really different than it is right now, where you can just buy them from anywhere. And then, so that takes away freedoms, and, you can't make the stuff they're anticipating that desktop mode will just not be a thing someday, and everything will have to adhere to Windows 8 standards. And they're just like, nope, that's bad, so we're leaving Windows as a platform. Not in those words, but strongly implied. So, on Monday, they revealed SteamOS, which is their own operating system. So they're making a break from Windows based on Linux, and it's going to be a free operating system that, because it's not sort of shackled by Windows and all of its baggage and things like that, they say that they've made huge improvements in graphics performance and just things that would matter to gamers. So
yeah, it seems like it's a dedicated OS for gaming specifically.
Yeah, so I think in addition it'll probably run the Steam software, I think that section is called. Where Steam, not only can you get games now, you can also get different types of software, mostly related to game creation. But I think eventually what they're trying to do is turn this into an OS that is so big because everyone wants it for games that eventually, it can be your main OS at home. Of course, they are targeting it for TVs and living rooms. But anyway, it's their own operating system. It's going to be free to everyone to download. Steam will continue to exist as it is, and keep getting support. And then they're also going to freely license this OS out to manufacturers. So that's what you were talking about. Whereas, let's say Dell, right now they pay Microsoft for Windows on all of their computers that they sell out. They won't have to pay Valve, but they can get Steam on whatever computers they choose to release. So, the second part is Steam machines. And the announcement today was not so much a hardware announcement, it's just that they announced a upcoming beta program for Steam machines. And basically these are Valve-designed dedicated hardware for the SteamOS. And they talked about how they always involve public testing in their design phase. So that's why they want to get out these, and they described them as more high-end machines. They want to get them out to people to try them out first and tell them what they think. And then, so it's sort of like, if anyone remembers the 3DO, or no, it wasn't 3DO. It was the
Jaguar?
It was the one that eventually resulted in that deal where there was Zelda games on...
Oh, the Panasonic CDI.
Yeah, it was I can't remember actually. But there was one hardware idea back in I guess this would have been the 80s, where instead of making the hardware, they would just like they would make this standard, and then anyone could make the hardware. So it would be, imagine a world in which Sony, Panasonic, Toshiba, and Samsung all made PlayStations, but they were all slightly different, but they all ran PlayStation games. It's kind of like that. So there's going to be a whole bunch of different machines. They all run SteamOS, and you'll be able to, configure them how you want, and they'll run Steam games. And at the moment, they say hundreds of games are native to the SteamOS, which means that you can run them directly off of that. But the other part of SteamOS is that it will be able to stream your Steam PC and Mac games onto the SteamOS box, which is presumably in your living room.
Okay, so the whole streaming thing, like, I was kind of confused on this. So it's like, is the Steam machine hooked up, like, physically to the TV, and then you stream those games from your PC?
Right.
Okay, those are like the non-Linux ones.
Right.
Okay.
So anything that doesn't support SteamOS directly, you would have to stream from a PC or a Mac. So it's weird, like everyone, it's essentially the same as Remote Play, or basically what the Wii U gamepad does. So, yeah, I did not see nearly as much skepticism about this that I've seen with Remote Play.
It's weird, like, the first day when they announced the whole, like, SteamOS, I was like, okay, this is really awesome. But then, like, today, I was kind of like, cause thinking about it, like how you said, like, anybody could, like, make a Steam, like, machine. It's like, like, the different grades of, this is a high end, this is a low end, and, like, I think that might be a little weird. But I guess, like, it's cool because since they are PCs, you can just, like, optimize them on the go and just be like, okay, I'm going to swap out memory now. I'm going to put in, like, a bigger hard drive or whatever. So I'm hoping, like, that instance of, like, being a PC gaming machine will stick around, and it's just giving you more convenience as you expand into, like, the life cycle of games. Whenever they come out, you can just, like, keep upgrading as it goes.
Yeah, basically that's what it is. You could take your current PC, and when they release SteamOS, just, like, uninstall Windows and install SteamOS on it, and then it would be a Steam machine, basically.
Yeah, I was thinking of, like, whenever they do come out with, like, whatever the specs are for, like, the really high-end ones, it's like, if the pricing is, like, too much to, or, like, depending on, like, what the pricing is, I could just keep my PC and then, like, reinstall that, or just buy a cheap, if the specs are just, like, way better, then I'll just buy a really cheap Steam machine and be like, oh man, I don't need to upgrade my computer for, like, another however long.
Pretty much. I think that's what the plan is.
That's what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping the prices aren't crazy ridiculous like they usually are on PC. So.
Actually, I'm pretty sure they're going to be kind of similar, except slightly less, because, say, for example, Alienware, when Alienware does their prices, they add on not only their special cases, but they also add on the operating system. So you pay for Windows, even though it came, you just don't see it as a separate line item. And then, so with this, like, SteamOS is free, so they're not going to, pass on that charge, or I guess they will pass it on to you, since it's $0, so you also pay $0.
I thought it was, like, weird, though, that they're targeting the living room. It's like, why, like, I think that's just a weird move, since, I don't know. It's like, why does it have to be in the living room when you could just play it anywhere, so...
Yeah, it's, I don't know. Everyone wants to get in the living room these days.
Because like, if you think about it, anybody that's like PC gamer, and like if you're just gonna like destroy the market with the Steam machines, then they already have like awesome monitors that they're gonna hook these up to and like play them. And so it doesn't. But I guess since it is gonna be a Steam machine with a controller, that is like what they're going after is like the console market. It seems.
Yeah, it's hard to say. Well, I don't know. You know how they've often been talking about. They feel like there hasn't been enough innovation in the hardware. it's just been really stagnant. So they were, there was that report about them experimenting with augmented reality stuff and eye tracking stuff, and just like they've been doing a lot of different hardware experiments. I'm wondering if this gives them more flexibility, or maybe, with a Steam, I don't know if they can like point to a Steam machine install base or something like that. They would be able to convince more people to do hardware experiments and things.
But yeah, I think like also if you have if the Steam machine is like completely dedicated to just playing games and it's just gonna like boot into like the Steam app, or then like, or not the Steam app. I mean, it's gonna boot into like just where you have all your games listed. Or it's gonna be very similar to where you have like the XMB for PS3, and then you have like the dashboard for 360, or like whatever the iteration of that is on the Steam machines. That'll be cool to like see the see the shift of how does like Sony and Microsoft respond to all the features that they're bringing from Steam as far as like sales and pricing, and then like how do they try to match that, as well as like if the UI is better, if the user experience is better, like just to like, to me like it's a good thing because it like gives the competition like even more reason to like react to what Valve is doing, because they've been like just destroying. So it's like they're gonna like force Sony and Microsoft to like even further up what they're doing as far as PS4 and Xbox One.
Yeah, it's gonna be weird. Yeah, I guess I can see it.
And like if the price is low enough, like they could like really make inroads as far as like being like I'd like possibly outselling Wii U if like the price is low enough, but we don't know what the price is yet. So
I don't know. I don't feel like the price is actually going to be that low. I think the hardware the hardware required to make the Witcher run or whatever, or not the first one, like the third one. It costs a certain amount, and I think console manufacturers are used to saying, okay, we're going to take a little hit here, but we're going to sell enough software to make that back. Whereas with the Steam machines, Valve might be able to make a cheap Steam machine because they'll make it back in software. But like Dell isn't going to go out and say, we're going to sell this at a loss, because they don't get anything back from that.
Oh, yeah. I don't know, I'm just hoping that like whatever, like I guess, okay, I'm trying to think of like an example. Because like Steam machines, they come out like next year, right? 2014? Or like that's the beta period.
Right. No, actually, SteamOS is supposed to come out 2014 sometime. I imagine Steam machines will also come out at around the same time.
Okay, so 2014, let's see what's the game in 2014. I guess like, I won't use Destiny. Okay, Witcher 3, like tropical. It's like Witcher 3 running at ultra high, or like whatever the highest settings are. Like I'm hoping whatever that Steam machine is like very close to $399, because I totally buy it. to like if in fact it is like visually superior and just like destroys like the PS4 and Xbox One versions, it would just be like totally worth it. Just be like, you know what, I have all these games on PC, or on my Steam account, I can stream to my Steam machine now anyway. So it's like, it's like if this announcement came sooner, and like these were coming out sooner, it might have like preempted me to yet again put my PS4 purchase in limbo. But now it's like it's coming next year, so I can just wait, and it can be my replacement for my Xbox One that I'll never buy. Or like even my Wii U that I will never get now, because I can just play all these deliciously graphically impressive games that aren't on the Wii U.
So like the factors that I would see there is, first of all, how efficient is SteamOS? I mean, if SteamOS can turn like my graphics card, which is several years old, into something that can run Witcher 3 on the highest settings just because it's so optimized, then you could maybe make really cheap systems that run these amazing looking games. So I guess that's a possibility. But it all depends on how good SteamOS is. The other thing, and we're starting to see this now, where the big hardware people are competing for developers. So Steam sort of started it with Steam Greenlight, and they're like, well, they already knew everyone wanted to be on Steam, so they opened up this new channel for everyone to get on there. But it's not been, that smooth for a lot of those developers. It's just, it's like a smaller version of the Apple App Store. There's just so much other stuff, and getting noticed is really hard.
Yeah, it seems like it is like a version of what Ouya could be like decades from now, when there's like a ton of stuff on there and you're trying to get your game out, and like, the signal to noise is just like way beyond anything you can really cut through.
Yeah.
Because like, yeah, you can get your game out on Steam, but it's like, will anybody know? Will anybody buy it? So
yeah. So like, Steam is trying to work on that right now. PlayStation, their method, well, they've done two. Like, they have PlayStation Mobile, which is free to get into now, and so essentially it's basic like the Ouya. Like, if you want to make a PlayStation Mobile game, you just download this stuff and then get to making it, and then you just put it on there. On the other side, with their larger consoles, they've been doing, they've actually been going out and courting developers. So it's like, hey, we would like to have your game on our system. Like, what do you need for us to make that happen? And so, yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see what is all of this going to turn into. Are we going to get a ton of games on everything, or is every game that's not first party going to arrive on everything? Because if you think about it, in this scenario, the developers win. Like, everyone is trying to get their stuff, and they have no reason, unless it's like contracts or whatever, to say, no, we only want to put it on this thing, or we only want to put it on this thing. Of course they want to put it on everything. That way, they get the most exposure.
Maybe Mass Effect 3 will finally come onto something on PC that's not Origin. I can finally get the trilogy on Steam. That'd be great.
That'd be crazy. Yeah, that would be really interesting. I think. Well, so you're excited for SteamOS, right?
Yeah,
I am too. I think a lot of people are. I think people who love Steam are going to look at this and think, well, I don't know. I think initially everyone thinks, oh my gosh, this is the most amazing thing ever. And, I'll be able to stream all of my games. Even if you don't buy a Steam box, you get another computer, install SteamOS on it, a cheap computer, and then you can just stream all of your awesome computer's stuff onto your TV. So that's really exciting.
See, I was hoping for some sort of like way that this could come to the PS4. Then I could like play on my then I could have like it all in one box, where it's like you have your Steam games that are on your PC, the Steam games that are like SteamOS Link stuff, and then you have your console games. It's like all in one. You don't need to. It's like I would never have to buy another console again for like a really long time.
That would be crazy.
It really could be like a 10-year console cycle. It's like, I don't need anything else for the next 10 years. Sorry, Nintendo. Until there's a new Star Fox. So, and that probably won't happen for another 10 years. So, yeah.
There was actually, I think Yost was talking about it. He was saying that there's sort of a transitioning happening with PlayStation, where it's going to become less about hardware and more of a service. And you can kind of see it. If PlayStation Cloud is successful as they think it will be, then yeah, in the future there will be no use for new hardware. You'll be able to play PlayStation games on anything. And that makes them happy too, because it's like, well, you're still buying PlayStation games, and it's like the Steam deal. Steam gets a little bit of money off of every game that's sold on there. So yeah, unfortunately, that's probably why we won't see SteamOS streaming or whatever on the PS4, because it doesn't benefit Sony at all. But yeah, that would be really cool.
Well, if they have like a licensed Steam machine, it's like you can sell PS4s, and it'll have SteamOS on there.
Strike some sort of.
And first-party games will only be on the PlayStation Store that you have to access through the PS4 OS. Yeah, they have some sort of like dual boot option or something. That'd be great.
Yeah, that'd be crazy. Awesome, but crazy.
Yeah. My E3 wish for next year. Gabe Newell on the Sony stage.
Well, so, okay, the interesting thing is, there is one more announcement. So that's only two. We got SteamOS. We got an announcement for a beta for Steam machines. The one that I saw, someone was saying, this is your trio of announcements. Usually, it's hardware, the operating system, and then a killer app.
It makes sense because it's weird. Like, you would think it would make sense as far as, like, you need something to move units, but it's like, it's Steam and it's Valve. Like, you don't really need this in this situation, so I don't even know what the third announcement is. I don't think it's going to be a piece, like a game. I think it might be like, like Source, like Engine version 3 or whatever, but it's not going to be freaking, Half-Life 3, Left 4 Dead 3. It's just, they don't need to make the games because, like, people will buy them whenever they put them out. That's why they're like, it's done and it's done. So it's like, yeah. That's how, like, the Blizzards, the Bungies, the Valves, how they roll. Like Rockstar, it's like, the game's done and it's done, and until it's done, whatever, like, it's going to sell regardless, so we don't need to, like, rush it out or ship it with anything.
I guess that's true. But it's so sad. Wouldn't that be exciting?
It would be exciting, job to come with I've kind of come to the realization is, like, after that one E3, and I was like, yeah, Half-Life 3. It's like, yeah, after I did that, and, like, it didn't get, like, said for, like, another 2 years, it's like, whatever, vaporware, I don't really care anymore, I'm gonna, like, stop letting myself get excited for something that doesn't exist, and just let it excite me when it does get announced, or whenever it does, if it ever does. But until then, it's like, yeah, it's not gonna happen, it doesn't exist, whatever.
Sadly, that's probably true. Well, is it? Yeah, it probably is. Because, I mean, on the one hand, it's like, are people who play, just play a few games on Steam really following the SteamOS and Steam machine stuff? Maybe not, but they'll be following a Half-Life thing.
And I think, like, as far as Half-Life goes, its legacy is, like, really good and everything, but I think it has lost relevancy as, like, the whole, like, there's, like, been such a, like, the length of time in between installments. I mean, yeah, you could say the same argument for, like, StarCraft 2, like, 10 years later, it's like, it still did good, but it's like, there's so many people that I would say probably haven't even played, like, one of the Half-Life games.
Well, I understand Half-Life 2 Episode 2 ended in sort of a cliffhanger. I haven't played it, actually, so I don't know.
I haven't either, so...
Oh.
People suck. Even I've played Half-Life 2.
Episode 2?
Yeah.
What?
I played it when they had it in the orange box, anyway.
Was it a cliffhanger?
Maybe.
Did it leave you wanting the next installment?
Because I think it ended with,
Don't say how it ended, dude.
Oh, but...
Jeez.
It was kind of a cliffhanger, kind of, somewhat. Because stuff happened with stuff. But since Tekken won't let me say things, then, yeah, you'll have to...
I'd rather get a Portal 3, actually.
Would you, though? Would you?
I love Portal. It's so fun.
But, I mean, where would they go from...
I didn't finish 2, so I don't know.
Oh my god, Tekken, you can't want a sequel to something you haven't even finished yet.
Okay.
Oh wait, that's right, you got stuck somewhere, didn't you?
Yeah, Left 4 Dead 3 will be then, for me. Because, like, it seems like the landscape is so different now, because it's like, Minecraft is huge, Dota 2, and, like, all the MOBAs are huge, so it's like, Half-Life 3, I mean, yeah, it'll still do awesome, but it's like, things have changed.
Well, I mean, you can sort of say, like, Grand Theft Auto 4 came out a long time ago. Lots of different stuff came out in between that and this one.
And it made $1 billion.
This one is insane. Yeah, StarCraft, it's the same thing.
Actually, we did have that discussion, I think, like, as long as, like, the craving for the next iteration of the game is there, like, it doesn't matter when the next one comes out, because people go and buy it, like Street Fighter 4, come on. Came back.
I think that was sort of different, but yeah, I see what you're saying. That one was more like, what? It came back? Oh, I gotta see this. Whereas StarCraft was like, oh man, it's back.
Also, since it is like next year or whatever, like you'd have to have some sort of like hype thing to like get people into it. And I guess it's like 6 months from now. Wait, no, it'll be how many? 6 months? 9? Yeah. So yeah, 6 months. Yeah, it'd be enough time, I guess, if you just like show something. Yeah.
Because I mean, an OS in itself is pretty boring for most people. We're sitting here thinking about plausible scenarios of how it will be, and so we can imagine this awesome future with Steam machines. But I think a lot of people are like, okay, so it's a Linux box or something, and it's just like, I have a computer. Why do I need this thing? So yeah, game announcement would be good. If anyone else... Oh, there's no one else here in the chat. But Gamer's there. Cool. Our first live stream. Does this make Valve a platform holder like Sony or Nintendo? I think they've always been a platform holder.
Well, Steam is like a platform in itself. So.
Yeah, I mean...
And now that it has like hardware to go with it, I would say yes.
I think the platform holder is the person who makes money off of all the games. No matter what game you buy on PlayStation, Sony gets money.
Actually, that's a good point, because then you can like take that platform and put it on like a proprietary piece of hardware, and then there you go.
Yeah. So
like GoodOldGames.com could like do something like, or like do some sort of like deal and be like, we're gonna license these machines or something. I don't know.
And if they could come up with a cheap way to do it, yeah, it's like Chromebook. Chrome is a platform.
Yeah, see, it's like you have to like, see, actually, wait, Chrome? Do Chromebooks run Windows?
Nope, they run Chrome.
See, so let's say like you have to like come up with the operating system outside of whatever you're using before you break free. So.
I suppose good old games. Some of theirs run on DOSBox, which is I think it's a DOS emulator. But yeah, I think so. Unfortunately, no. I don't think there will be a Valve E3 conference. They're too big for that.
I mean, PC games never really had, like, a specific conference for them anyway, so...
It's funny, because there's that, like, the whole big deal about PC Gaming Alliance a couple years ago, and it's like, yeah, that didn't really do anything, so...
Yeah, essentially Steam is like, oh, we don't need Microsoft at all. In the past, it was like, oh, Microsoft's like, yeah, we're going to show you how it's done. This is games for Windows, and we have this PC Gaming Alliance, and it's going to be awesome. And basically nothing happened. And for a while, they even charged for Games for Windows Live. And that's basically the only thing that's like the only tangible thing that I can remember that came out of that. Of course, later it became free when they realized that no one was going to pay for that. And then now it's just sort of been deactivated. No more Games for Windows Live. And yeah, that's all gone. So Valve is like, psh, we'll do it ourselves. Not even on Windows. We're going to make our own OS. It's insane. And then, yeah, we're going to give it out free to people, and people love free, so they're going to buy machines, and machine manufacturers...
See, what would be cool is, like all the stuff you mentioned before we started about, like, how they were looking into, like, the whole motion tracking and, like, other, like, tech as far as game development. It'd be cool if they brought that to their OS, like, later on, and, like, we're, like, just straight up either competing with or, like, overtaking... like Apple and Microsoft in, like, in their own realms that they had been like uncontested for so long, because, well, I would say like Apple short term has become stagnant after Steve Jobs passed away, but like Microsoft themselves has just been like completely irrelevant to like tech as far as like evolutions of, you know, let's go from having an awesome operating system, and like they haven't really done anything really relevant as far as like the last 10 years. I'd say it's all Google, Apple, so
pretty much.
They're Steam.
They're not like the consciousness, really. They're just sort of there.
I guess,
you know what? That reminds me. And then I forgot. Never mind. That is so weird. And I have a pretty bad cold, if you can't tell.
Okay, so I guess
Yes,
can...
you sound terrible.
Do you have anything to add to the Steam Machine Talk RPG?
Oh, because I'm not like I'm kind of new to this whole Steam thing and everything, so
He's also anti-digital game purchases.
I also don't like digital game purchases, so there's that. But in all fairness, it's nice to have something you can hold in your hands. So, well, that sounds dirty, but yes.
Alright, so I guess we can end the segment here and come back after this with what you've been playing. Alright, so what you've been playing? Who wants to go first?
Well, I haven't been playing anything, so I can go ahead and X myself out there.
You hear?
So, yay.
What have you been doing then?
Working a lot. This past week has been really busy.
So just work, sleep, eat.
I haven't even been able to do those last two.
No sleeping or eating?
No, I literally stayed up at one point for like 36 hours straight.
Wow.
I think so.
Is it
Longer than
weird
my
to work
crazy...
with food all day and not eat?
I know. Isn't it? Good old irony or something, I'm sure.
So is there anything you're looking forward to playing as soon as you have time, RPG?
I mean, I just picked up Armored Core Verdict Day, so once I...
So you got it. Did you know that it's multiplayer focused?
It is. I at least started it up, and apparently the way it's set up is like you have to create your profile and everything, and the idea is you have to join a team before you can actually or create a team before you actually start, and it's kind of like it plays as the overall thing kind of plays like the game of Risk or something, where it's like 3 different factions trying to control territories of the world map, and it's like I guess it goes on for, it's like a kind of like a tournament season where it's like different faction or different teams in the factions can either team up with each other and like attack different territories, or like people can be hired as mercenaries and they can like go on missions to like take on or to try to take over territories and everything. But there's also like story missions to like hidden under or within the world map stuff, so there are like some single player focus and everything. And there apparently for people who do play solo, you're able to create like AI mechs and kind of just like use them as kind of like your own little, I guess, team thing if you don't want to do like the whole team up thing, so you can control a bunch of AI mechs to do your bidding.
Are you still playing against other people though?
Yes, you are.
So you have bots versus their mechs?
Essentially, yes.
So is there an offline mode, or?
Yeah, like I said, there's solo play and story missions that you don't have to play online, but I mean, you'd be missing a good chunk of the game if you decide not to, join up with a faction and do work.
So I think that's an interesting take on a single player game with in the current way we play games is have story mode that's offline, but then you go online and then you have a squad based multiplayer, but then single player is also a mirror of that where it's you have a squad and stuff.
Yeah.
Just with bots. So
like Brink.
Oh yeah, because then you could go online and be like, man, these humans are way better than my team
No.
than the AI partners.
Yeah, because those guys are terrible.
Yeah, seriously. I had initially joined a team and I was going to start playing, but then I was like, I don't know if I want to join a team now, so I created my own team, so I could just play by myself for now, and then we'll see how that goes once I actually get started playing stuff. So, yeah, that's the thing.
So that's all you've been playing?
Like I said, I haven't really been playing anything.
It's so weird, because we can ask RPG questions and it'll always answer negative, and yet there will always be something. Are you ready? No. Are you playing anything? No. Oh, I did play Armored Core, but no.
It's what I do.
I guess I'll go next. 'Cause I haven't really played. It was weird after I finished GTA 5. I kind of like it was like well, I guess I can't say it was like coming down from a hype, but like I felt my elation from like just being able to crack out on a game and just be like, oh man, I'm gonna go into here and play for 20 hours straight, and just like all the air came out of my balloon. And I was like, well, because after I finished it on Wednesday, I was like, what? I already finished it. I was like, what do I do now? So I just did all like the side stuff, like parachuting, and the triathlons are cool. Cause like you get, I think there's like 3, and the last one's like a 30-minute like full map triathlon. It's crazy. You start like swimming all the way up north, and then you go like to start biking in like the downtown section. Oh wait, no. Oh yeah. You like bike from like the deserts to like the downtown section. I'm like, when is this going to end? And then you start running. I was like, man, that was a crazy awesome like marathon setup they had for that. That was really great. Or triathlon setup. That was great.
Why would you marathon a game like that, Tekken?
I didn't know how long it was. So I was like, well, I took a vacation because I was like, well, I don't know how long this is going to be, and I want to be able to finish it like in a expedient time, because I don't want to just be like, man.
Or you could have savored it.
I'd rather
like
do
a
that
normal
than savor it,
person.
'cause when I don't call it savoring it because I don't have time to play, so it's like it
Did
just
you
makes
take
me,
off like 2 weeks to play the game or something?
Originally I did, but then luckily I split my time up, so it's like, I get another week, and hopefully Beyond Two Souls or something's out by then, so I can just crack it on that.
You're
so.
ridiculous, you know that? Ridiculous.
I wasn't expecting. I was not expecting my voracious appetite to play through the game to like exceed the content of the game, because I didn't know what was in it, and all these reviews came out, and it's like 10 out of 10. I was like, oh man, how packed to the brills is it? But then it was like, oh, it's Wednesday. Technically, the game came out on Tuesday, but I got it at midnight, so I'd been playing it for like however long my Twitch says, like 12 to 14 hours after that, and then I went to sleep and woke up and played for another 14 straight. So it was great. That is like what I love to do, is just play nonstop until I pass out, and then that's like if I could do that for every game, if I had the time, but I don't. So
Ridiculous.
And then after I did that, I was like, well, I like, my feelings for GTA 5 was like, the game technically, like all the things it does is amazing. However, like the story and the characters, something's off where it's not as like, it doesn't hit that mark like Red Dead did. So I went back and played that on 360 finally, and I was like the first, like it took like less than 10 minutes for me to realize what was missing, and it was like the atmosphere, dude. Like when you're in Red Dead, it just feels like Wild West. Whereas like it's weird though, because like I'm like, well, why does like GTA 5 not have that feel? Because it's contemporary, and so like I'm in the city, but I guess that's like a environment that's already natural to me to like be in the city, even if it is like a large urban area like LA. It doesn't really feel like this is a fantastical place that I've been transported to, like through playing a game. It's something I could go anywhere and like do.
I've actually been in LA.
Or like go anywhere and like be in, if I go to like a city or a desert town or it's like doesn't feel, I guess it doesn't feel alien enough to feel like it's a discovery of like, oh man, I'm in this place that I could only be if I played this game. Whereas like Red Dead, man, they just nailed it. And then I was playing it in HD for the first time. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, it looks so good. It was like, man, I played this in SD. Is it going back and playing in HD? Just like the little like mounds of dust that are blowing through town, and like the dirt and the way everything in the environment. And then I got to Tall Tree and just like gushed all over the place. I was like, oh my gosh, the snow and the grass and the trees, just so good. And then I'm almost at the end because I went out and cracked on that because I was like, well, I beat GTA, so I need something to fill that void in my heart now. and Red Dead's like my favorite game of all time. But then like playing it, I was like, this feels very like, it's weird going back from GTA 5 to play it, because it's like this feels very barren, because it's just a very homogenous environment the whole time of like deserty, Wild Westy, until you get to like the mountains and Blackwater. But then I was like, well, it does like, but John Marston is just. I think that's what killed it for me. Is like looking back at like the characters in the story of like GTA 5 versus like Red Dead is just like it's like day and night. Like John Marston is a hero character, so he's not a complete douchebag or dick. Like a couple of the protagonists in GTA 5, like one is a complete psychopath. So it's like there's that. And then you have the option of like being good or being bad, and it actually feels like it's not just some sort of ambiguous thing you're doing when you're just returning someone's purse that's been stolen. It's like, oh well, I'm doing this because I have the choice, and not because. But even though if depending on what character you're using, it goes against like the whole thing of what my character's been doing the whole time of just being a complete psychopath and killing people. Whereas like John Marston himself, it's like can be like a hero character of just like complete paragonal justice and just I think I have a man crush on John Marston, but man, he's such a great character. I love him.
Oh my!
And then and like his story and just all that stuff he goes through, like on his journey to get redemption and get revenge, and just killed it. I was like, that's what was missing. But like Red Dead, I would say it's like a masterpiece, whereas GTA 5 is a really good game, but I would not say it is like you have to play this game. It's just like I said, like the best of GTA. Like it has like all the best stuff from it, but it's not. I don't feel like it feels necessary that like you need to play this game. So it's like it's really good, and like I'll say it's a really good game. But it's like at the end of the day, do you really need to play GTA 5? No, is it really good? Yes, but it's really good and fun. But like it doesn't have like those emotional levels of I feel drawn into this and it touches my soul like games like The Last of Us and Red Dead Redemption do. So it's like, oh, sorry GTA 5. So it was really good, but something was missing, and I found it in Red Dead Redemption. I found it in McFarlane Pass or whatever that branch is called. I found it. Oh, also it was weird, like playing it again. Red Dead is like that Mexico section really does drag. Like I was playing it for like 12 hours straight or something, and I got to Mexico, and I was like, oh, it just gave a different feel of like the game, the way like the game is like you're following Bill Williamson because he leaves to Mexico and you don't even see him for like however long, and then there's some other dude that's like from your past that you're finding, but like basically the whole time you're in Mexico you're just like doing stuff for people because they're like, oh well, I'll tell you where this dude is, and like they don't, so it's like it just makes it feel like you're doing stuff for NPCs like you would be in like some stupid fetch quest like an RPG. It kind of like loses the flow and like the pacing. It's just gets off when you get to Mexico. It's just like you're just doing favors for people to like go out and kill people, and they're like, oh well, yeah, we'll do this again, and I'll tell you. And it's like, oh, they just keep yanking your chain, dude. It's just like, oh, Mexico really does like drag that game. But then after that, it does pick up. So it's like, okay, but the pacing, Mexico, but yeah, Red Dead's still amazing, awesome game. And besides that, because I haven't been at work, I haven't played any handheld games for a week, so no PSP or 3DS action.
Strange that he needs to be at work to play games. Someone's not being productive.
Hey,
okay.
On a handheld system.
You're still doing the handheld thing where you have to play it outside of the house.
Yeah, it's like, why would I play a PSP or 3DS game when I could play GTA 5 or Red Dead or Mass Effect? It's like, it doesn't, no. Like we talked about like last week or the week before, it's like there are certain ecosystems, or not ecosystems, but there are like tiers in gaming, and it's like, my sitting in my N7 chair and playing with a controller is like at the top of the hill, or mountain, top of the mountain.
Mm-hmm.
And then everything else is like a couple notches below. So yeah, but that's all I've been playing. Oh wait, GTA 5, as far as like the side missions and stuff, parachuting was fun, the submarine thingy was fun, all the underwater stuff's awesome and like beautiful, and just like it was really weird. Like when I was doing that, it felt completely different to like the rest of the game. It was very tranquil, serene, underwater adventure as I'm finding these submarine pieces and these what else? Oh, nuclear waste I'm collecting. But then I'm kind of angry at GTA 5 because like you need money to get like some properties at the end of the game. And besides the stock market, you're kind of effed as far as like how do I make money to get this other stuff. So it's like, F you GTA 5, because I would have liked to have gotten to experience everything without having to wait for the multiplayer. And now it's like I'm just waiting for October 1st to see if the multiplayer money I get in game can transfer to the single player, because it's like I have these two properties that I cannot buy. So it's like F you GTA. So yeah. Oh, obviously the other thing is like there's like the assassination missions where it's like if you don't invest, you're gonna like not make the money. Because like you could have totally I could have totally invested into them to like make money after I assassinated dudes, but I didn't. So it's like I missed out on that. So it's like and I can't go back and replay, because when you replay it, you don't really get to keep any of the funds. So it's like, oh well, that unless I start a new game, which I'm not going to. It's like I can't do that. So it's like just waiting around for multiplayer, because I think they purposely did that so people didn't trade their copies of the game in. So
Gamer says,
and I'm kind of like
Gamer says the money doesn't transfer.
Oh, F you, GTA 5. I guess I might have to play it again.
I suppose GTA 5 is okay with that language.
Yeah, right? They probably said a lot worse, made up a few words along the way, too.
That's regular language.
But now, as I'm waiting for like GTA 5 to come out, I'm like, you know, I'm just like, you know, I mean the multiplayer. I'm just like, you know, I'm kind of like cautiously optimistic. I'm like, well, I really did enjoy the single player and it was fun and all like, and it's just gonna like be the carryover of the gameplay stuff. So it's like that's gonna like be still awesome. But it's like, what can they really do to make me want to come back and play this? To where, because it's like, you know, I'm still on like the you know no cop no sell. So it's like unless there's like a ton of co-op stuff to do, I doubt I'll be like in Los Santos breaking or robbing banks with the Aimless crew for a while, so we'll see.
Yeah,
I'm also waiting for a freaking announcement on the DLC, dude, because like after I finished the game, I was like yes, but then I was like, oh, I'm done already, and I was like, and I was like, I was like so down, man. I was like, what do I do now? It's like I already finished the game, and it just came out. And I was like, ah. So, See, the RPG, like, to me, it's like the time in between you get the game and you're playing it, like, that window of, like, when you're playing it, like, it's complete euphoria. Like, but then when you finish it, it's like, oh, well. If you don't have, like, anything, like, to immediately move on to, because it's like, if there's something coming out next week, then it would have been like, oh, I can just get whatever next week, so. If I have to wait a couple weeks for Beyond Two Souls, so. Oh, speaking of which, I have a code for that, and I will put it in the, I'll say what it is at the end of the episode, and then whoever wants it can get it, so yeah.
Ooh.
But if you're on Twitch and you can get it live, then you'll probably get it first, so good for you.
We're talking about the Beyond Two Souls demo code?
Yeah, the demo.
I just saw, I was, speaking of which, I was in GameStop, and I saw like a video for that thing or something, and apparently it's supposed to cover like 15 years in the character's life or something. Is that a...
Yep.
Is that a thing?
Yeah, they'd already said that they'd always... Or
I don't remember...
They said that from, like, birth to, like... however many years.
I don't remember hearing about
it. Or not birth, but, like, childhood.
Must have been, like, on a media blackout for it or something, but that's a long time to be... It's like, God, now I have to play through this childhood thing. I mean, now I have to learn how to walk and all this stuff.
I don't
go through my rebellious stage where I hate vegetables and get attacked by ghost people and stuff. It's like, what kind of weird childhood is going on here? So that would be interesting, though. Because all those things that you're afraid of in the dark are actually real. So, you know, have fun sleeping at night. But I'm still debating on whether or not I want to pick it up, though, because I'm like... Because I know it's supposed to be... Because this is the same people that made, like, Heavy Rain and stuff, right?
Yeah,
so I'm like...
Dream.
I'm like debating because I'm like, I only semi-liked Heavy Rain. I'm like, I don't know how Beyond Two Souls is going to be, if it's going to be like similar gameplay style or if it's going to be like actual like gameplay sections with the whole QTE narrative thing going on throughout. So I don't know. I'll play the demo and see. There's supposed to be a demo before it comes out, right?
Yep, next week. Or October 1st.
So yeah, we'll see. Maybe. I don't know. I have like several Vita games coming out in October, so it's up in the air and stuff. But I had to pre-order it before it happens, if not, because I think they get like exclusive DLC for that. So
yep.
I don't want to miss that if I do.
You can go try to call that because I haven't been. I played some of the side stuff, but it was like whatever. It was basically I was doing that because there's nothing else to do and I didn't want to start a new game, but now I know I need to, so.
Yeah,
I'm reading that next week.
I'm basically nowhere in that game. I played one more mission since last time. And it's just like, there's too much stuff going on and too many games. Like, I'm trying to think of what joined my backlog.
It was weird though, because like reading some people how they felt like bad in the torture sequence. Like I played through that and I was like, I didn't really feel bad. So I was like, does that mean I'm becoming a more terrible person? Has The Last of Us changed me and everything? Or?
To answer your question.
But then, like, it's, like in the context of the game, though, like the character you're playing at that time is just like a psychopath. So it's like, you know, I wasn't projecting myself on another character. Of, oh, I'm torturing this dude. So whatever. It was Trevor, it wasn't me.
That's how you. That's how you rationalize away your. What? 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 That's how you rationalize away your. What the truth.
I actually thought it was a good thing because it juxtaposes like torture and like racial profiling of like Middle Eastern people. So I was like, oh, that's interesting that they did that there.
Well, when I get there, I'll let you know.
And like it was like another thing was like I've seen worse. Like not the torture scene, but like there's a scene in Old Boy, which is this like Korean film, and like this dude takes a hammer and like just goes to town on this dude, and it's like, oh man, it was like way worse than that scene in the game. I was like, I've seen worse in film, so I was like, I don't see what the part is about this, whatever. Oh, and then like supposedly on the I was on Buff's podcast and like they were talking about like there's some optional side quests, or not side quests, but like there's something that'll happen if you're in the strip club and like you're groping a woman, that you get like this mission that activates where like you can take her home and have sex with her, and then like apparently she will like overdose on drugs or something and like foam at the mouth, and you can like still like have sex with her or something. I was like, what? I was like, that did not happen in my playthrough, so I'll take your word for it. Because apparently somebody had like returned it to like the store that they wanted them worked on, or when a parent had of a child returned it, was like, this had this in this game, blah blah blah, and I was like, oh well,
Man.
well you shouldn't buy it for your kid. So
Have you noticed there's been a lot of that recently? Like
What?
I've seen a lot of articles about retail employees talking about parents who just
the parents of
are
the GTA
ignoring
kids,
them.
yeah.
Yeah. It's like, you shouldn't buy this for him. Say, whatever. All his friends have it. He's played
or he's
it
played all the
before
other.
at his friend's house or whatever. I was like, no.
I have seen a lot of things about that too, because even GameStop seems to be going out of their way to advertise things you shouldn't be buying for your kids and stuff, which is weird for them because usually they don't care. But
Yeah, it's just, it has been like that. I mean, thinking back over the years that I worked, it was oftentimes, they just assume that there can't possibly be anything that bad. You know, they imagine it's Halo. Halo is rated M, so it's like that, right? But no, they are not. Oh well. Yeah, what did I play? So I know I played a mission of GTA 5. It's still basically teaching me how to play the game. So that's cool. I'm still impressed by it though. Probably because I haven't finished Red Dead Redemption.
Oh, take it off.
That was one of the things I was supposed to finish, but that didn't happen. So that's like Red Dead I haven't finished, Ballad of Gay Tony I haven't finished, and Chinatown Wars I haven't finished.
I think what did it for me was since I had played Lost in the Damned and Ballad of Gay Tony going into 5, I was like, expecting like equal level visuals or whatever, but then like just the improvement from 4 to 5, I was just like, wow, and just everything. It was just like the controls and everything.
Yeah.
Because I was just playing it like the previous day or like that day or whatever. So like coming back and like playing 5, actually like immediately playing Ballad of Gay Tony, which was like the most recent GTA iteration, is like, holy crap! Like, look at how more awesome this is.
It looks so much better,
just like visually and gameplay. So yeah.
But I think I played some. I know I played some Final Fantasy 14.
ew. Oh wait,
Ooh, because
it's Final Fantasy.
if
Wait,
you
quick question. How is it like retailing for 40 or something? Is that
Yeah.
like the regular price?
Yep.
Because it's almost like they were.
But it's $8 a month or whatever to play. So
Yeah, I know. That's like subscription fees. Damn it. Because I think Kingdom Hearts is that price too. Because when I was in GameStop, I was like, wait, are they just cheaper now, or is this like the regular price? Are they trying to get me to buy them? No. I have to relent. I can't do it. So
now those are regular prices.
damn it, Square Enix.
But yeah, it's quite good. And the thing I was enjoying was if you log out in certain places they call sanctuaries, you get like an XP bonus for everything you do when you come back, and it depends on how long you've been logged out. So I've been logged out for, I don't know, a week. So my XP bonus is pretty high. So that's nice.
that's interesting.
Oh right, because it's the one where you like stay in a sanctuary.
It's like the great equalizer. Whereas there are some people who can just play for hours and hours and hours a day, and they'll level up at a certain speed, but since they're playing so many hours, well, then there's you who can't play hours and hours a day, but you get this bonus. So potentially you can all reach the same level at the same time. It's just that you played a lot less. I'm not sure why that's in there. I guess yeah, it's for people like me.
You can only half play.
Yep.
And
So
well, I mean, he can only play so often. He has responsibilities and stuff.
I did like 3 missions there, and I was like, okay, I'm done for now. Leveled up almost twice in that time. Like, man, this bonus is really good. Because yeah,
I guess it balances like the whole time versus. Wait a minute. I'm thinking of the wrong model. I was thinking of like the free to play time versus money, but this would be like time versus something else.
Time versus. Well, actually, now that I think about it, it was introduced back in the day so that people wouldn't play so
die.
long. Yeah, like if you take a break, you won't lose any of your momentum because when you come back, you'll be moving at a faster speed. But yeah, I don't know how that's worked out. Anyway, it's all running really well. I haven't run into any of the server issues that plagued the launch, so that's cool. I guess it's all fixed.
Been marathoning it like some people probably were.
Yeah. I guess the only other thing I've been playing is Vita. Or no, actually I rented Project Cross Zone.
Ew.
So, playing some of that. The story is crazy and strange.
What exactly are you expecting from a crossover game?
Yeah, but it's really cool because you see all of the fighters know each other, and they don't specifically say when they met. But you sort of, if you've played all the crossover fighting games, you sort of sit there and say, "Oh, I know when they met," and it's sort of like an in joke, or maybe it isn't. Maybe in their fiction they do know each other.
It's like, oh yeah, you're that guy. That one time.
Yeah, it's funny. Yeah, I recognize some of those people. Like, of course, because you fought against them in Street Fighter Cross Tekken. Anyway. And like Frank West knows Jill and Chris from Resident Evil. It's like, well, I guess I could sort of see that, maybe. They're both from Capcom, and they both fight zombies.
And he is like a reporter or something, isn't he? So maybe they ran into him while he was covering a zombie story.
Maybe. It would be interesting to see a serious crossover between all these.
How would they even do that? I feel like stuff like that can't even be taken seriously.
I don't know.
Because then it's just like, okay, this is getting ridiculous. They're trying to force reality into my ridiculous not reality. So can't have
but
that.
Thinking about the realities and say the TV show Elementary, which is based on Sherlock Holmes, is like it's basically identical to our reality except for one thing. They don't have Sherlock Holmes from, the guy who wrote it. Like, he never wrote it. So that's why no one thinks of this guy being named Sherlock Holmes. Like, no one thinks anything of it. It's just like, oh, that guy's named Sherlock Holmes, and he's really good at this. Sleepy Hollow. It's like, Sleepy Hollow is exactly the same as our world, except... Well, one, they're monsters, and there is no legend of Sleepy Hollow, so no one, like, this is the first time they're hearing of the Headless Horseman.
Although, I have to say, people in that episode, or in the pilot, were surprisingly calm when they came across a headless guy with them flaming. I'm like, how is everyone okay with this? It's just like, oh, just some guy without a head. It's cool. Stuff happens all the time. So,
yeah, crack some jokes, and not even really shoot at him. Yeah, we're just gonna hide, and then later convince ourselves that we didn't see anything. Yeah, there was nothing there.
Good old denial.
That show is awesome, though.
I enjoyed it. It was kind of ridiculous when he was using a shotgun and an assault rifle, though. I'm not sure how I felt about that.
The Terminator.
But he was from the past, not the future. He shouldn't know how to use things like that, and he doesn't even have a head to aim with. None of that makes sense. It's all insane. So,
the producers of that show are the same people who produced Transformers Prime, I think.
Oh.
Also an awesome show. Tekken,
I
you haven't seen it yet?
Nope.
You should watch it. I think the whole series is on Netflix now.
Well, I have another week of vacation, so I'll put it on the list.
Crack out. It's so good.
It was funny. Like after I finished GTA, like I was like, okay, well, what do I do? Do I start or go back to Assassin's Creed? Play some Mass Effect? I was like, what do I do? I was like not ready to be finished. I was like, I don't even know what to do.
You have no backlog, really?
Well, yeah, I did, but I didn't have like a contingency plan of if I finish GTA 5. I was just like prepared to like just only be playing that. So like when presented with all this time, I was like, so. And it's like, oh, I guess we'll play Red Dead. So compare and contrast it for some sort of like post-mortem on GTA 5. See how it compares.
Well, yeah, the only other stuff I can remember playing was Vita games. I've been trying to play through Muramasa Rebirth, which, again, is way harder than I remember, and there are parts that I don't remember. So I'm pretty sure I played it on the Wii, but now I don't really know.
But now you don't know.
I am dying a lot on the bosses. Like, oh man, this is really hard. I don't remember it being this hard. And then,
watch someone play it or something and thought you played it?
No, I'm pretty sure I played it.
Because I know I played it. I don't know if you did. Because I was there. I don't remember you being there.
And then Killzone Mercenary, which is... it's okay. The story is not that enthralling. Like, it sort of hit me in the same way that Grand Theft Auto did, where it's like, wow, this looks way better than I thought it would. And Grand Theft Auto 5, when I got it, I was like, wow, this looks way better than I thought it did. And then I haven't really been pulled into either one of them. So either I'm being really good at not playing too many games while I have other stuff to do, or they're just not that enthralling.
I'd say they're not that enthralling.
Being isn't enough to keep you there.
Maybe it's true. But, yeah. Not really playing that much, it seems, the three of us. Tekken burned out too quickly.
Should have known that was
RPG is.
I wouldn't say it was burned out too quickly, but cracked out too much.
That's called OD.
Overdid GTA 5.
Yes, it is, actually.
And, yeah, I've just been dabbling in my... I think, yeah, I haven't added it to the backlog, so that's good. GTA 5 is still on top. Oh, unless I get Lone Survivor, which I'm thinking about.
What is Lone Survivor?
Lone Survivor is the survival horror game that just came out yesterday for Vita and PS3.
Oh.
It has retro style graphics, and it's supposed to be really scary. And I'm sitting there thinking, how scary could this possibly be? So, yes, I'm prepared to eat my words when I finally see it.
Yes. That should be fun. You should stream it. So then...
That would be fun. Halloween night. Yeah, I was thinking of doing that. Doing either, like, I haven't played any of the Silent Hills, so maybe I would do one of those, or Resident Evil 2 I haven't finished ever.
Ever? Oh my gosh, Tropical.
I missed that era of games. Yeah, no, I'm excited for the future, I think, more than I am the present, which is sort of sad. Although it makes sense, since I like getting more than I like having. Yeah, like this month they announced the PlayStation Network promo again, where it's like you get 10 back for every 50. So like people out there, if you're thinking about the the PS3 to PS4 upgrade thing. That's like a free upgrade.
Is it?
Yeah, too bad I already have Watch Dogs on my PS4, so...
So,
and I don't care about Call of Duty, and Assassin's Creed is dead to me now, and Battlefield is just as dead as Call of Duty to me, so...
Battlefield, the only one that makes sense to me is Call of Duty, I think. Because Assassin's Creed is like, well, why would you play a predominantly single-player game on a inferior hardware at all?
Because
Call of Duty at least has community on both systems.
It's actually, that's another thing that happened when I played GTA 5. Like, it was like, it was like the King is back, Return of the King, as far as, like, open world games. It's like, of the stuff I've played, or just, like, everything, like, going from, like, how Saints Row came out first before GTA 4, and, like Crackdown, and, like, how everything is, like, try to dethrone, like, GTA 5, like, what was, like, the missing secret sauce of, like, why could it not do it? And then it's, like, while playing Red Dead, it was like, well, obviously they just, like, substitute the horses for the cars. Well, they also have, like, wagons and carts, but whatever. So it's, like, looking at other games, it's, like, I guess just, like, the transportation is, like, one thing, and then, like, outside of that, it's just, like, the feel of what they go for. Because it seems like, for the most part, GTA is very similar, like, every iteration. It's just a different setting or different take on it with a different character. So it's just, like, the whole crime drama thingy going down or whatever. Well, I guess, that's the interesting thing with 5, though, is, like, it didn't get too boiled, like, too weighed down in the whole, like, mafia, mob, crime section. There's no real, like, crime families in the game, so it's, like, interesting how that's the case. I think San Andreas is also like that, where it's just mostly you against the cops, so... but yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I feel like Saints Row 4 does its own thing really well. But, why didn't Saints Row 4 make $1 billion? Is that the question?
I guess that's not really a question, but like, why is it not as as like what's the word I'm trying to think of? Why it doesn't have as much? I don't want to say prestige, but just like the like
the name recognition thing. It's
I think that's what it probably is. I mean, it is about the legacy, whereas the legacy of Grand Theft Auto 3 is...
Yeah, like the reputation. Like, why doesn't it have like the reputation of like GTA when like people like I think the thing with like Saints Row is like it goes for like a completely different feel after the first 2 games of just like zany and weird. So
even the second one was zany, and the first one to a lesser extent. But there were zany games. Yeah, I think that's why the reputation of Grand Theft Auto 5 comes from Grand Theft Auto 3 being sort of the first one. So everyone was like, oh, this is amazing. And then the reputation of Saints Row 4 comes from the reputation of Saints Row 1, which was, this is a poor man's Grand Theft Auto 3 knockoff.
Because, like thinking about it with, like, Assassin's Creed, it doesn't really seem like you can compare the two because you're always on foot. Well, you can compare the two. You have, like, horses and stuff, but it just seems like it's very different games. Like, it's like after...
We have ships now, too.
Like,
so...
But like, I guess the thing is like since GTA is like the contemporary version of an open world game, like everything else is like taken another setting and tried to like repeat the formula.
Yeah.
To an extent, to where it's like Crackdown's more sci-fi, and like Assassin's Creed is like whatever the historical setting is. Watch Dogs is almost, but not quite there. Cyberpunk, futuristic, well, modern, postmodern Chicago. So.
It's supposed to be modern, isn't it? It just
Batman
happens
is
to be.
Batman.
I guess it would be a good weekly topic. Is like, what would it take to, or like, is it even possible to like dethrone GTA at this point? Whereas like you have so many people trying to like overtake Call of Duty. It's like in the open world space, there have been like many contenders, but no victors. So
I don't think anyone's actually trying to dethrone them so much as it's just they're trying to take what has made GTA successful and they're trying to like see if they can use that without blatantly seeming like, oh, it's just another GTA ripoff kind of thing. They're just like, well, these like open world aspects and all this stuff is like, okay, this is why people love the series. So maybe if I can just take that those mechanics and kind of tweak them a bit and, put them in my own setting, and maybe I can have a successful game too or something. It's not necessarily that they're trying to, go after them like other shooters might be trying to go after Call of Duty kind of thing.
I guess that's a good point.
Yeah, it is interesting to think about what would it take to make a game that would dethrone the heads of these genres.
I think another thing about like GTA though, as far as like Rockstar North, like since like we're talking about legacy, like they've had like all this time to like master their craft, whereas like everybody else just started this gen with all these this is an open world next gen of like what we're going for. You'd think Ubisoft like might get their Assassin's Creed 4 after all these and like the in between games, but they do keep like making more and more with every version, but I'm kind of off the boat at this point, so.
Because I mean, with each genre, you do have that one game where if you name the genre, people will immediately think of a specific title or something. It wouldn't be like, let's all think of all the myriad of titles that could actually fall under this. Like if I tell people I play RPGs, the immediate thought is Final Fantasy before they even think of anything else, as opposed to like all the hundreds of different developers and RPGs that are out there. So it's like,
yeah,
similar with GPA when it comes to like sandbox games.
I actually think, sadly to say, that it is marketing that has made Grand Theft Auto what it is. Whether it's formalized marketing like commercials and magazine inserts and whatnot, or informal with just like people talking about it and reviewers saying this is the greatest thing ever. So, yeah, I don't think, because like, I mean, if you think about it, how did Gears of War become what it is?
It was the launch title. I guess they were hyping it up.
Exclusive too, so there's that.
So like,
that going
with Grand Theft Auto, I mean, it was. I guess it did need to be good enough to. I don't know.
Or just need to have that. I think you just had to have that one thing that hooked people, though. Then it didn't necessarily have to be good so much as just something that was, really different for the time it came out or something. At
3, it was such a. Even though Shinmu was out, like if you look at 3, it was just like such an impressive feat of what they had to accomplish with the technology of just look at this open world and like these.
Do you think it was people they were impressed by its technology and that's why it became such a phenomenon?
Not necessarily. I think it was like a two sides of the coin where like some people were like, man, look at this game and like the world that you get to go play in, and some people were like, oh, I can go have sex with prostitutes and shoot people.
I think that was actually the main one. That second part there.
I'm thinking like Call of Duty, how it became so dominant is pretty. I don't know. It's sort of mysterious in how it happened. Like I'm sure there was some carryover from how successful Call of Duty 2 was. But yeah, like why did Modern Warfare elevate Call of Duty to where it eventually landed?
I would say the multiplayer, because I think Call of Duty is like a anomaly in that respect, where it's like it's not about the single player experience that you're having. It's about like what they were doing with the multiplayer and just like the experience points and the do every time you level up. And it's like, oh, like what am I going to put myself into Call of Duty
Yeah.
Multiplayer.
I only play for that, just to hear the level up sound. I think that's what it is too. Because I think at that point, there maybe just weren't like mechanics in a multiplayer game like that at the time, and then people were just like, okay, this is definitely it when it comes to multiplayer. It's like no other game has this, no other game's going to be able to do. Well, I mean, they could copy it later, but it's like at that point, it's like once you're the one who does it first, or as far as I know, first thingy anyway, then that's when people are going to be like, okay, this is going to be associated with them from now on, and anybody else is just going to be copying them. So this is always going to be the go-to game to go to for this particular thing, and it's always going to be better on this game, no matter who's their competition or who's trying to, do the same thing. It's like, well, Call of Duty did it first. They're going to do it better. It's always going to be like that. So then it got to the point where everybody's like, well, this is obviously the better game because, like Tropical said, once it gets down to like marketing and word of mouth and everything, it's pretty much just a done deal for the game if everyone's like jumping on board the bandwagon kind of thing. So
the other thing I think is interesting about Modern Warfare is like you would think that it would be because it was breaking the mold of we're no longer going to be World War II, we're going to go into the modern era, but that's not the case because before that you have Counter-Strike and Black and like other games before that are set in like a contemporary modern with like modern weapons that are first person. But I think it was like the added addition of this multiplayer that like was able to elevate it to the next level of just addiction that people get when they play that, and it's just it was very addicting. I remember just going in, I'm going to level up my guns, I'm going to level up this class and just set my character with like these guns and like go for these level up things, and it was just great. Just, man. And then and the kill streaks, dude, like the freaking UAV, the freaking helicopter, airstrike, like back then you had like that like very few, so it's like, oh well, yeah, that's then like it's like, oh man, I get to call an airstrike, call an helicopter, and, or if I could get that many kills. I don't even like remember what it was back in the day, but that's pretty cool. Huh. But what were we talking about before the whole GTA thing?
I don't remember.
I think you're talking about what you're playing.
Gamer derailed us.
You.
It's all his fault.
No, yeah, that's pretty much what I've been playing. As I said, I haven't been playing much. Yeah, I was recapping how we hadn't played anything.
Oh, yeah. You're saying something about how, like, I'd cracked out and you were dabbling in RPG, hadn't been playing anything. Yes. And then, yeah. Okay. I remember now.
Fire.
Alright, well, let's see. We're at 45 minutes for the segment. I guess we can... Is there any news that happened that we can, like, wrap this up with?
Sure. Well, important news for us, I think. Stick of Truth. South.
Oh, yeah. December, I was about to bring that up.
December 10th is the release date, finally, so... I don't know what I'm going to do that day. Probably, Gran Turismo comes out on the 6th, and then South Park on the 10th.
Oh, no. It's after Gran Turismo.
Lucky.
Yeah, I'm looking at my release list right now, and I had South Park in November, but now it's like November's only Watch Dogs, so that just like makes the schedule even easier for me, so I can play around with my PS4 when it gets here. Yeah. And then I did finally like go into Gran Turismo 6 or Gran Turismo 5 to like add up the values of the cars, and it looks like I'm going to be pre-ordering from GameStop because main credits not going to get you very far. Not nearly enough.
You got Pokemon Y on your list, really, Tegan?
Hey, that was before we had to talk about waiting for the third version of Z.
Yes.
So I would just wait for that.
Although when I saw all the changes they made to the game, though, I kind of wanted it. Though I was like, oh, they changed quite a bit in this, so I don't know. Hopefully they hurry up and release their third version so I don't have to wait that long.
And then I'm just like, just waiting with bated breath of whenever The Wolf Among Us comes out. Cause, oh my gosh, Telltale. That's going to be like another sleeper hit because like people are like, oh well, it's going to be just like The Walking Dead but it's no zombies, and it's like some crazy like fantasy. You're the big bad wolf setting in New York. It's like what's going on here? But it's going to have the same awesome gameplay. It's just going to destroy. I was just like, I had that theory of like, if you take Heavy Rain's gameplay and you just map it to whatever, it's going to be awesome. So it's like, you take Walking Dead and you map it to whatever, it's going to be awesome. So that will be awesome, and I cannot wait. Episode 1 or part 1 of season 1 when it comes out, just yes. But then I'll have to like be waiting in between episodes, so that's going to suck, but
That's the cool way to play it. The cliffhangers.
Yeah, because then you can like talk about it after every episode.
I just like
you
to
could have
it
like
all.
the stuff every time.
Stupid cliffhangers.
That's why I love comics so much.
They released some details on GTA Online. Apparently, our train heist dream will have to wait because heist will not be there in the very beginning, along with Capture the Flag, something called the Beach Bum Pack, which is 4 beach vehicles, 300 new items of clothing, and 2 new weapons. And then a content creator where you can publish your own death matches and races. So those 4 things won't be there at launch. The launch is really going to be about ironing out kinks. So they've already said, yeah, our servers aren't going to be ready for the tons of people who are going to be on there, so there's going to be lots of problems, so bear with us. We're going to make it awesome. And so what is available? Well, you can run around and do jobs. You can do races. You can mess around in the open world that is GTA. Yeah, so it's going to be pretty basic when it comes out. Kind of sad, but we have 10 people in our crew, so, and 16 people can join a game at a time, so it's
growing.
It should be fun to just mess around, at least for a little while, until we can get our train heist, which is what we want.
Or bank. Oh yeah.
That'd be cool.
Besides, who still rides trains? How do you heist one of those things anymore? It's like, you're gonna go in there, it's gonna be empty. There's gonna be no one there. Because I'm pretty sure computers can drive those things now. They just kind of do it for show. Unless it's Japan.
Maybe the train heist of the future is when you steal a train.
Oh, even better.
That would be amazing.
Now, I'm a little curious as to how you would manage that, or where you're going to hide a train, but okay.
David Copperfield style.
Like that magician movie with the robbing things and stuff. What's it called? Now You See Me? That one.
Ooh. Correction, we have 11 people in the crew. Oh, join the crew, people.
Join us.
Yes.
Join the cult. We have Kool-Aid and cookies.
What else? Man, what other news was there?
Gravity Rush 2 got teased or announced, kind of. So that's good.
They did announce a Monster Hunter game for Vita. It's of Frontier G, I think.
So now it's gonna the Vita's gonna sell like 2 billion units now. So that's gonna be a thing.
Yeah, Vita just continues to get more and more stuff. It is sort of crazy. They announced that you'll be able to record PS4 gameplay over HDMI at some point. Not at launch. So I'm sort of excited for that. That'll make my setup a little bit easier when I'm not using the share button. But I'll mostly be using the share button, because that's just way easier.
I'm seeing what Gamer told me about TGS when I asked him, did anything awesome happen? He was like, not really, kind of boring, but that is to be expected. Deep down, MGS5, Lady Bergamo did look great.
What's
Lady Bergamo?
Like I have no idea. But
Lily Bergamo is an action game from the Grasshopper manufacturer.
Is that the one where it's just like that ninja lady's like tying something up or something?
Yeah, something like that.
Some weirdness going on. It's more. It seems like
Deep Down
it
is
was
free to play now, which is weird.
Yeah, Deep Down going free to play.
So was it always an online game, or is this just like?
It was always an online free to play game. They just didn't tell us any of those things.
They just showed it, and we're like, it looks amazing.
I guess if they had announced
the dragon is real.
People would have been sort of like, eh.
Well,
so
I mean,
they announced it's an awesome looking game. It's an awesome looking game, and then it's free to play. Like,
yeah, there's always that free to play now. I'm like, how are they going to bring this over to get the money out of us?
Transaction out the wazoo. It's like, you want a sword? Yeah, you got to pay for that. Otherwise, you do everything barehanded. Good luck with that.
And not just a sword RPG, but every piece of armor. It's like, you want greaves? You want a helmet? You want a chest piece?
It's like, you want fingers on those gloves? Yeah.
Leggings?
I love playing as a naked monk.
There's actually a Dark Souls class that is
naked
essentially
monk, really?
that. It's like called the Depraved class or something, where they're literally starting off naked and with nothing but.
It's like all the customizations, you have to pay for those. Like, you want a new skin of hair? You want a new model of eyes or ears?
It's like, oh, you want to actually walk into this pub to get missions? Yeah, that's going to cost you money.
You have to buy a ticket.
Yeah. It's like, sorry?
Carded?
Yes. Yes, you are. So yeah, that's like that was my only real concern because like it'd be one thing if it was another company doing it, but it's Capcom. We know how they operate when it comes to getting money.
Well,
so.
Namco Bandai has been doing a lot of DLC stuff too.
Yeah, I think.
Oh, and they're actually doing free-to-play games too.
Yeah, I just want to say they also a bunch of those, so they're jumping on the bandwagon. I mean, I guess it would be. Wait, what about for like? Because I mean, PS4 stuff requires PSN for online play, doesn't it? So
not the free to play, not all the free to play games. Like it's up to the developer.
Yeah.
Oh.
So they could decide to put Deep Down in behind the PlayStation Plus wall, but we don't know yet. Yeah, the way it seems to work so far, and it's up to the publisher, but I think that for the most part they'll follow sort of what everyone else has been doing. And so far, if you're free to play like DC Universe Online, then you're in front of the paywall. So that one, Blacklight Retribution is in front of the paywall. And it sort of makes sense because if you're truly free to play, then most of your money comes from that small percentage of people who actually spends money in free to play games. And so you need to cast like the widest net possible in order to, because the percentage apparently is pretty consistent across games. So the higher your user base is, the more money you can potentially make. So
yeah, there's like some article. I'm not sure if it was a Q&A thing, but with like one of the World of Tanks people, I think. I'm not sure. It might have been somebody else. But they're basically saying like with like their projections like in like the years after this, like with more and more free to play games, like the game industry is going to like make like more and more money, and it makes sense like thinking about it because like if you get a game for free, and like if you're like me where Mass Effect 3, I was like paying for stuff just because like I could, even because I was stupid at the time and I was like I didn't really understand it. It was like I spent more money on that than I probably did buying my 3 copies of the game that I didn't need to have. it's like you like make more money on your customers over time than you will on like GTA's like $1 billion in 2 days. So yeah, it makes sense.
You actually probably could have bought a PS4 by the time you spent all that money on Mass
I'm
Effect.
pretty sure I didn't spend.
Yeah,
I did not. I'm pretty sure I did not spend that much RPG.
I
probably did. I probably did.
You're up there.
Maybe a cheap Vita. Maybe a cheap.
I don't know. Between like his 12 copies of the games and all those premium packs you kept buying.
Purchase statements.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so far it seems like free-to-play is all in front of the paywall, whereas like Elder Scrolls Online, which has a subscription fee, those are behind the paywall because their money, in addition to microtransactions, comes from subscription fees. So, not really sure why that makes sense, but somehow it does. I don't know. It made sense the last time I thought about it. They don't need that wide net. Exactly. Their net, their net, they have to get people to buy the software first. Whereas free to play is like zero barrier of entry. It's the best for that model.
That's how they get you.
Actually, it's funny, like, thinking about it, I remember back in the day when I played a ton of Gunbound. I guess that would probably be, like, my first free-to-play free-to-play game, because I played that game a very long time over, like, many years just to, like, get the stuff that I wanted. I didn't buy anything. I put a lot of time into that game. I was like, man, just to get stuff.
Yeah, that's pretty much how they do that. Anything else? Yeah, just small things, season passes announced for various games. Killzone is the only one I can think of right now. Every time I think of news, it's actually been pretty slow, I think, on the news front, which is why I've been sort of, what's the term? Scraping the bottom of the barrel for news, which means going to n4g.com.
Oh my god.
Just random, like, rumors and people saying, oh, this is why the PS4 will be awesome. This is why the Xbox One will be awesome. And posting it as news.
Yeah, there's something Polygon about like 300 gamer picks with Xbox One purchase. I was like, okay. How is this important at all needing to be posted here? Whatever.
I guess in Xbox One news, furthering, I don't know what's going on with that system. They're saying that in the beginning you'll only be able to upload videos to Xbox Live, with Facebook and YouTube coming next year.
Oh yeah, I saw that. I'm glad you brought that up, article, because that's,
It's just
that's like,
it's just weird. It's like, surely these things were in the design from the beginning. So how come what is going to be done on launch day?
Nothing.
Perhaps they've decided, yes, we have shown you all of our aspirations, and this is what we want the system to be, but we know that none of you care about any of that stuff on launch day. You just want games. So none of it's going to work. Games, which is the only thing you care about. So, yeah.
There's also the something came out where like Sony said that they're going to try to bring PS3 games to Gaikai next year, I think.
Yep.
I think that's like the top of the list of like what they're bringing to the streaming service. But I was kind of disappointed because it's like, I want like retro and classic games first. I don't want like it's like that doesn't really make as much sense to bring PS3 games there first when it's like, I mean, yeah, it's not backwards compatible, but it's like, oh, come on, dude, I want to play the classics.
Yeah, I was really.
But then like we are getting Market Cree on PSN Store, so it's a good job. So did.
Yeah, like I've been looking to pick that up at this shop that I've been going to, and it's like, oh, it's coming out on PSN. I can get a new one, quote unquote. So I hope they release the sequel at some point.
They won't.
Yeah, that's the only real news I can think of.
So yeah, we have, let's see, almost at the 1 month mark for the PS4 wait. It's like, next a couple weeks from now, it'll be the 15th of October. There'll be one more month until November, and then cannot wait.
Can't believe we're so close to a new generation launch. It's insane. This
Very
year's passed by kind of quickly.
And this year, I'm very interested to see like the sales figures as far as like if the Wii U is not doing too terribly. So it's like, with like these two consoles launching, so that's like my whole theory of like, if they don't get enough games, man, this year could be really bad, and the next year could be even worse. So.
They're doomed.
I wonder in the next year, will we basically be a PlayStation podcast? Because I mean, if it wasn't clear before, like at least right now, some of us have 360s.
I got rid of mine.
Who's gonna have an Xbox One among us? Maybe Gamer.
Gamer will. I'm pretty sure he has one pre-ordered, so that's a thing.
Well, yeah. I mean, he said he's holding it till the day before.
Yeah, he says that, but he's gonna buy it.
After the Steam Box or Steam Machine announcement, it's like I'm just gonna use that to replace my Xbox One. Like, I didn't even care about that anymore.
I'm sitting here now, and there are things that I want to play on Xbox One. Like Dead Rising does seem interesting to me now.
The only thing I think I want for that so far is just like Project Spark, but I was told that was going to be on the PC as well.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I may not need to worry about that.
But it's just like, it no longer strikes me as the machine that only fools would buy. But yeah, now that
I don't know, dude. Did we talk about their first commercial with the NFL thing?
We did.
I didn't see.
Oh.
Yeah, I saw a weird thing today. In fact, you can see it now. If you go to GameStop, their website, and you look at their weekly ad, page 2 has a box. It takes up maybe a fifth of the page, and it's
I'll do that right now on the stream.
Get the facts.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Did you see that? And it's like, yeah.
All this information on the internet. We must control the message.
Yeah, you don't need to be connected to the internet. You don't need all these things. Like, basically, the stuff that they've reversed, and it's just like, we've always had this conventional wisdom where it's like, oh, it doesn't matter what they say right now because they're going to sell all the Xbox Ones at launch.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not so sure. Like, if it was such a sure thing, why are they doing anything? They should just concentrate on on what they've been doing. But no, we continually see like sort of damage control things and like lowered expectation things, like, oh, these things aren't going to work at launch, and this isn't going to work at launch, and there's all these things that aren't going to be at launch. And it's just like, and they keep reopening pre-orders. It's like, why do pre-orders keep reopening if it's going to be tight supply and all these things? And so I'm wondering, will they sell out at launch? I mean, I'm more and more believing that if I go to a store on the 22nd, I'll be able to get an Xbox One if I want.
That's a good point. It's like they might sell out on launch day, but when they get their like sequential shipments in after that, it's like
they're still gonna get their hardcore fans to buy it. So yeah, they'll be fine at launch. But
actually, it's interesting because like bringing that up, it was interesting to see like at GTA 5 launch, like with all this like blah 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 about like Xbox One or PS4, it's like there was still like a ton of like 360 units of GTA 5 sold because like I was getting my copy, and then like when I went to the counter, they just had like this giant cardboard box of like all these 360 like cases of the game. And I was like, holy crap! A lot of people got it on 360. So even though it'll be interesting to see like the migration of people from 360 to PS4 and like see there's like in this new crazy console like world we live in, like does like brand loyalty even matter anymore? Does it do this?
I don't know. Like there's been a lot of comments. If you go into any comment sections, which is not for the faint of heart because they're insane these days, but you'll see lots of people saying, oh, I was totally Xbox 360 all the way, didn't even have a PS3, and next gen, like, I have a PS4 pre-ordered, and I'm not getting an Xbox One. And then there's a lot of those comments, and it's like, we have all of these factors sort of coming together, and, they're not really coming together, because there's just so many people defending different groups and whatnot, but I'm doubting that they will be totally sold out. Like I was positive that they would be. Like, why are they trying so hard right now? Why are they, the last interview I saw, they were touting, we have the best games. How do we know that? Because Xbox One games got 100 awards at E3. And I sat there, I was like, well, but 60 of those went to Titanfall.
Which is also on PC and 360, so not exclusively exclusive.
Well, it's not even that. It's just like it was one game
title. It's not game,
and it's not even really related to Xbox One. Like it's an EA game.
I don't know. Maybe the Xbox One is the best thing that ever happened to Sony.
Man, next E3 is gonna be so awesome to like just watch Sony and Microsoft go at it with like we have our boxes, but now we have our games to run on those boxes because Sony's got like all those first party games like just, oh the cat fight, I cannot wait.
I'm
so
really
good.
excited for
see Jack Trident come out on stage and be like, what's up Microsoft? What's up?
It's gonna be crazy.
It's like this year, it's like, oh, we haven't changed our message or our messaging of what we said we're going to do. The barbs, so good. I love watching it.
Poor little Nintendo. They'll be sitting in a corner. It's like, oh, why didn't we do this sooner, guys? Why?
Actually, with like that's another like point to bring up with like GTA 5 just making $1 billion and not being on Wii U. It's like just another example of like where's the third party support? Do they have a mega exclusive on that level that could be that successful? No, they don't. So
they just keep missing out, which is weird because I thought the whole point of the Wii U was to make sure they got games like that.
It's interesting though because like they brought Chinatown Wars 2 like DS. Originally as an exclusive, so it's like you'd wonder like why they wouldn't pay up to try to get. Well, I guess it makes sense to like not. It's like not to their message of family-friendly systems.
I don't think they could.
Extremely not.
Really. But yeah, right.
Especially with all the strippers and prostitutes.
I don't know.
And violence.
It's gotten to the point where it's like,
and torture.
I can understand where they want to kind of hold that image, but at the same time, it's like it's at the end of the day, it's only gonna hurt them if they're passing up on games like that because they're trying to maintain their family friendly. I mean, there's already ads telling parents not to go buy certain games for their kids. They can still be family friendly and warn people about, games not being for a certain age group and stuff, and still,
Yeah, because like isn't like the demographics of like the majority of gamers are like in their 30s or older?
Yeah, I think it like shifted recently from what I've seen.
Average.
Yeah, the average. Oh, I guess the average and the majority are two different things. So
yeah, it's like the average is kind of like age shift. That means we can have people who are 70 and still playing.
And you still have like the kids that are like, oh, I play Call of Duty because my mom bought it for me. So.
Yeah.
As we talked about earlier, so
even when you're it's like even when they tell you it's like, so yeah, your 10-year-old kid probably shouldn't be playing this, but it's like it's okay. His friends are playing it. It's totally cool. Yeah, Gamer just said Bayonetta 2 shouts family friendly. He makes a good point. The game is pretty Bayonetta is a pretty fan servicey series, so yeah, and it's an exclusive for the Wii U, so
Published by Nintendo. You can't believe that.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Oh, RPG. What do you? We haven't talked about this. What do you think about the Sega acquisition of Atlas?
I saw. When I first saw this, I noticed a lot of people were like complaining on my my Twitter feed. They're like, "Oh, this means nothing's gonna get localized now." But I was like, first of all, that'd be the stupidest thing that Sega has ever done if they prevented Atlas from localizing anything. Since it's like one of their strongest, compared to Sega, Atlas and their localizations are so much stronger than anything Sega's tried to localize that isn't like Sonic or something. So it's like that would be the dumbest thing they've ever done. If anything, this is probably like the best thing for Sega because with Atlas's name under them, and now they've already have like a huge fan base. This would be like probably actually help them out in the long run when they're trying to like get games, recognized in the territories outside of Japan. Because it's like, okay,
you don't think Sega has a giant fan base of its own?
Yeah, well, I think some of their games have giant fan bases. Sega themselves, it's kind of like, because I mean, like I said, they
like outside of Sonic, like in Yakuza,
and even that didn't even like only like 2 of those got published over here, right? For the Yakuza ones, or if that, it's like I think they have issues like appealing certain like or some of their franchises to I guess Western gamers or any.
Yeah, they didn't bring Valkyria Chronicles 3 over and other games. So
it's like Atlas, on the other hand, they have a large fan base outside of Japan. So it's like that having that might actually benefit them in the long run. And there's no way.
It's also they make smart decisions when they publish their games here, unlike Sega.
Yeah.
My first impression was like, oh, now that Sega is in charge.
I know, I was worried
that they're just like, oh, Persona, that's too weird, so we're just not going to localize that one. Just like, all their games. Oh, Yakuza, yeah, that's too strange for Westerners. We'll just keep that one here.
They like money too much to stop something like that from happening.
And they spent a lot of it to get Atlas.
And yet they do that, though.
They did spend a lot to get. And I also was like, when I first saw it, I was like, At first I was like, okay, this is kind of strange that Sega's been going on this buying companies kick that they've been on recently, because they did the same thing with the whole THQ whatever when they were splitting up stuff. And I was like, why are they doing this? They're not like in hardware anymore, so they don't need to like secure exclusives. But I mean, I guess development wise, it could benefit them in the long run because they these people that they've been buying have audiences that they kind of need. So it's like, if they have them all under them, there's like, okay, well, it's kind of like,
so.
Yeah, kind of like we were saying with that, whichever company that was. It's like when you have all the guns, you don't really need big ones. So.
Oh yeah, Valve.
So it's like, it's kind of like if they can like bring in key companies to market to those audiences that they don't have, they can kind of they can start, selling the games that they've been trying to sell here unsuccessfully if they don't have like Mario or Sonic in the title. So it's kind of beneficial for them in the long run. And also my immediate thought was like, oh my god, there's going to be a Sonic RPG now, and I'm done now. I'm done. So it's like,
or some crazy crossover with like Atlas characters and like Bayonetta characters or something. I mean, Persona and like Bayonetta demons and stuff.
Well, they'll be in the next Sonic racing game probably.
At least, yeah. So I'm like, so I was excited about that. I was like, oh, this could be the best thing that has ever happened to gaming ever for me. So we'll see.
Yeah, it's like at first I was worried, but then I started like to connect the dots, and I was like, wait a minute, this actually could be a good thing. Because it's like they outbid Nintendo, and it's like at first I was like, well, I'd rather have them get a Nintendo, but it's like then I was like, wait a minute. That means it'll only be on Nintendo hardware, therefore I would have to buy a Wii U. Which,
yeah, I was going to say, if one of the console holders would have did it, I would have preferred it be Sony, but
yeah.
It's probably better that if like it was like a publisher / developer that picked them up instead of one of the big three, because otherwise I would have been forced to buy a console in one way, shape, or so. Like crap. So it's like, so it's probably worked out for the better when it was somebody else that picked them up. So should be yeah. So I'm excited. I'm just like, yes, there's nothing that could possibly go wrong with this. So we'll see how this goes.
And I'm so used to like Sega dropping the ball. I was like, no. And I was like, well, Atlas can just publish their own. Well, if they just like keep their stuff intact and don't like close them or something, they could just let them do their own thing. Or just like give them the Sega stuff that they won't bring over here and make it be awesome and translate it.
Oh man, that would be so awesome.
Yeah, because it's it's Atlas's name attached to it, even though it's Sega. So it's like, wouldn't even
do it, Atlas USA.
Yeah. Still holding out for Valkyria Chronicles 3. Just throw it out there for 6 months. We'll be okay. Everyone will buy it. Do it, Sega. Do it. So, yeah.
So I don't think we have any more news, do we?
Nope. I don't think
All right,
so.
so I guess we can wrap up here and sign off.
So that was fun, right? It was live-ish. Didn't hear it live, but that's okay. This is only the first one. We'll have to spread the news better next time we do this. Maybe we should do it's fun to watch Tekken's desktop.
It's fun to watch Tekken's desktop.
We
Although
saw stuff.
If he can like bring up stuff while we're doing stuff.
Yeah,
so.
that was really cool. The Xbox One thing. Anyway, let us know. Check us out, aimlesspodcast.com, and now also Aimless Podcasts on Twitch.
I think something of our website right now, so you can know where to go.
Yes, that's true. We're everywhere.
Aimless
And
Podcast.
you can even see our site on the stream. Go to it. Go. Enjoy it. We're everywhere. So, yeah.
And so yeah, until next episode, Aimless Podcasts. And we are now signing off.
Just another quiet day.
Alright, we're back. Well, we're not really back, but this is the whole, what's Tekken's Beyond Two Souls code thingy for the demo. So the code is JQF5 5FNP 8RAA. I will repeat in case you missed it the first time. JQF5 5FNP 8RAA. So, thanks for listening, and be sure to check us every week on aimlesspodcast.com or YouTube or Facebook or Twitter, blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. And until then, we're now signing off again and stuff.